Well, you've heard the saying that a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? Well, that can be especially true when you're working on the web and you're trying to explain some web content to somebody, but you're just not getting your point across. So, using a program called Skitch, you can take a picture of that web content and put some annotations on it to make sure that you clarify your point. So, let me show you a little bit about Skitch. It's from a company called Evernote, and you've heard me talk about them a few hundred times before if you listen to the show. Come over here to Products and click Skitch. Now, this takes me, it knows I'm on a Mac, so it takes me right to the Mac page where I can download Skitch for Mac. But if you click over here, you'll see you can get it for mobile devices and other computer operating systems as well, like Windows and Windows 8. Now, if you are on a Mac, you may want to download it from the Mac App Store. And if you're on an iOS device, you may want to download it from the App Store as well. So once Skitch is installed, you're going to end up with a little heart icon up here in your menu bar. And if you bring it up in your dock, you can also see the icon down here as well. So what I'm going to do is I am going to operate mostly from this menu bar. You can do all of the same things on Skitch by working through Skitch in here. But I'm going to go ahead and work from the menu bar. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make some annotations right here on this page. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take a picture of this. Now I have a few options. I can do a crosshair snapshot, I can do a timed crosshair snapshot, or I can do a full screen snapshot. So I really don't need to record all these little icons and the menu bar items. So I'm just going to pick a crosshair snapshot. And you see it gives me these little crosshairs here. So I'm just going to click and drag until I have that window that I want. That's it. And now it has the dimensions of that picture right down there. When I hit capture, you'll probably hear a little like a camera taking a picture sound. There you go. So now here's that sketch. That's a picture of what I took over here. So eventually what I'm going to be able to do is email this picture to people once we've annotated it. I can upload it to Facebook. I could save it to Evernote. And actually I can do a lot of different things with it. And automatically, the way I have my Skitch set up is, let me come over here to the menu bar in Skitch. I'm going to go to Preferences. And you'll want to do this too when you start working with Skitch. We'll start off on the General tab. I unclick the top box that says Place Arrowheads at the beginning of the shape. And I'll talk about these arrowheads here in just a moment. I don't like it to start at the beginning of the shape. I like to draw to the shape. So I just unclick that. The rest of these I leave checked. So just take a look through those and see what applies to you. As far as syncing is concerned, I always save mine to Evernote. Now you can set it to ask you, or you can manually decide where you're going to save it, but I always save mine to Evernote because then it'll sync up to my Evernote and I'll always have that sketch. And I use a Skitch notebook. And I think when you set this up for the first time, it leads you through a process that lets you set up, it'll set up the sketch automatically for you once it syncs with your Evernote account. I set my syncing for 5 minutes, and of course I want to get a warning in case I'm exiting out of there and I haven't saved my sketch. So those are all the major things that need to be concerned about in preferences. All right, so here we are back in our picture, and right now you see this red arrow moving around here. That's because I have the arrowhead selected. All right, so let me show you about arrows. So remember I told you go to evernote.com and then go to products and then Skitch. Well, you could also go directly to evernote.com/Skitch. So let me highlight that. And you see I clicked over here and I dragged it to what I wanted to point to. And that was that setting that I unchecked that box for. So I can, with these arrows, if I click back on it, you can see it starts getting the squigglies around the outside. It tells me I can adjust it, so I can make that arrow smaller. I can move the arrow. All right, maybe I didn't want to point to that. Maybe I wanted to point down here to Skitch. Well, I can grab this and I can turn it around and point it back to Skitch. All right, so I have lots of options with that arrowhead. If I needed to highlight it any more, I could always put some text there. If I click this little A, lets me start off a text box. If I click outside of that box and then I click back in, you see it lets me move it around. I can change it from this outlined font to a normal font. I can change the color of the font over here. Make it this orange color. Well, maybe I can't with that one. I guess I can only do that with the outlined one. So I can select, let me select blue. So there you go. So a few different options with the text tool. And I can also do this little shape drawing tool. I can select squares, this rounded corner squares, circle, or straight lines. So if I wanted to highlight this and box this out, I simply click and drag, and that's it. If I click outside of it, it'll start another shape. So to delete that, I simply click on the shape, and I get that little 4-arrow cursor, and that tells me that I can modify that. So in this case, I want to delete, so I just hit the delete button. If I click this shape, I can resize it. I can move it all together wherever I need it to. So that looks good right there. So now I'll click back outside the shape. The next tool we have is a highlighter tab, and it's also a free form drawing tool. So let me show you what I mean. Where our shape tool only gives us a few limited options, if you want to do any freeform drawing, you can simply click that marker, and that will let you circle something, and then it'll gradually get thicker, and then you could even write with it if you had to. I don't have a mouse, I got a trackpad, so it's a little difficult. Okay, don't take off any points for penmanship. All right, and then if I go back over and click on this again, this is a highlighting tool. So I can highlight some text. See where it doesn't cover it like that does. And let me click on it again, and let me change my color. Make it yellow like a highlighter. Okay, so remember, if you want to delete something, you simply click on it. Let me get rid of this cool. All right, and I can hit delete. Now all of these were different, so I have to go back through and delete them all. All right, now the next tool down is works really good for annotation. So let me show you one other thing that I haven't talked about yet. I can actually pull a document into Skitch as well. And what I'll do is let's go ahead and forget about this one for now. And I will sync it just so it stays in Evernote. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a file, open, and I'm just going to pull in some text. So I just pulled in some text, and the next tool that I wanted to show you was this annotation tool for markup. So you have an X, exclamation point. You can actually change the meaning of these things. So if like this would be typically if you were annotating somebody's text, that would be for delete. So let's just click. If I just click, you notice that's just a circle. It didn't give me that little arrow. So let me click on it again, and this plus sign shows up. So let me click the plus sign, and so that'll let me know that I'm annotating in this line. Now I can also put text over here for rejected. Now let me move this whole thing over just a little bit. All right, and I can also move this thing around. So like here, I didn't want to cover that word, so let me move it like that. Once I'm done, I just simply click out of it. Another annotation tool is a question mark. Okay, you have a question about something. Once again, if I click once, that just gives me the circle. I click in it again. I can add the arrow. I can move that arrow wherever I want simply by clicking that blue dot and dragging. And then I can annotate my text over there, and I can change that to whatever I want. Okay, now you are limited in characters there, so I don't know the exact count, but you may have to be a little bit creative with your annotations. And again, you can move that wherever you need to. So that's the annotation tool. Now, you'll notice when I'm working in text, I'm missing a tool that was there before. So let me go back. Let me first sync this so it's in my Evernote account. So let me go to Evernote. This is the one we were working on. So open that back up. Now let's say there was some type of information on this that you didn't want somebody else to see. Maybe it was your phone number, or you're working on a form and it's got a social security number or what have you. Simply come over to this Pixelator tool and you can just click and drag over that sensitive information and it pixelates it for you. Now the one thing about the Pixelator tool is once it's on there, you can't just click on it and get rid of it. All right, so make sure you're placing it in the right spot. Now let me see if we can do undo. Edit, undo. Edit, undo. Doesn't look like it. Okay, so note to self there, be careful with the Pixelator tool. And this last tool is a cropping or resizing tool. It gives you two options. There's the crop tool over here and the resizing tool over here. So you can expand it or crop it, and that's what we'll do. You simply grab a corner, drag it in, and then once you have what you want, you'd click apply, but I'm not going to do that. Let me drag it back out. Oops. Well, you see it, you can also just move it around too. Once it's highlighted, you can move it around. Let me get it back up to a corner. And switch over to the resize tool. And that I can zoom in and out up here if I need to zoom into an area and make it bigger or smaller. Once I got it where I want it, I just click apply. All right, so let me just click apply right there. All right, now the next thing I'm going to do is we've got this all annotated. We're going to send this off to somebody. What I want to do is I'm going to shrink this window down just a hair. And what I want to show you is, you know, this is all well and good, but you got to be able to share it. So a really easy way to share it is just go down here where it says drag me. Let me just go here, drag it on over to my desktop, and there it is right there. So I can add that to a file, add it to an email, upload it to Facebook, you name it. Easy as can be. Another super easy way to share is if you're in Sketch in the program, just simply right click on the note and then you can click any one of these and share as well. You can add it to iPhoto. You can even send it through a URL. So the share and copy URL. Now remember, those are usually public URLs, so just be careful of that. And of course, it's going to save to your Sketch notebook in Evernote, so you could share it from there as well. So lots of different options. All right, so that is Sketch. It's free. It's very easy to use, and it might help you get your point across a little bit better. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below in the comments section. And hope you have a great day. Bye.